Well, hey, welcome back. If you guys hadn't guessed it, today's video, we're going to be detailing up this 2003 Chevrolet Trailblazer, nicknamed Tuberculosis. For those who don't recall, this is my $300, I put a transmission in it, storm chasing vehicle. Yep, I go storm chasing. And it's got some cosmetic damage on it. However, it's also going to be dubbed I live in the UP of Michigan. I don't want to put very many miles on my new truck / make it rust out in a year vehicle. So today's video, we're going to be going through getting this thing prepped for winter. As you can see from the beaded up water on this side, we've already gone and done some detail work here in a previous video when we were getting it ready for some trail riding. But today, we're going to go through, polish it all up, undercoat the inside, and we're going to address all those nasty issues that we deal with up here in the Michigan Great Salt State for winter rust. I'm so happy. Let's get into it. So earlier in the week, did some cleaning up from trail riding, and here's that video right now. So first glance, a little dirty. You saw in that one video we had a lot of muddy water come flying over the hood. So that brings us to today. Let's walk around and check her out. So as I mentioned, we're going to buff it out. And this side had a quick polish, and that side didn't do anything. We put a tape line down the middle. And, you know, I don't know if you could tell or not, but we may or may not have had rain last night. And one side is different than the other. I can't really tell. Not so much here or here, but right there. Yeah. We're going to go through and we're going to buff this out because when you get a nice coat of wax on it, you're going to keep the paint from getting chipped up, getting marred up. You're going to reflect any water, salt, anything that forms just like that. So we're also going to go around after we buff it up. If we have any chips, we're going to touch them up with some not the same color paint that I have because I just have black, so we're just going to use black. And, you know, address any of those little issues. And then we're also going to address, you know, we have some rust, a little bit here and there that we need to take care of. Mainly, my biggest concern is this one. Now, by any means, we're not going to do any major repairs to that door because the major repair is going to be replacing the door. And quite honestly, maybe in the spring, I'll look into getting a door for it from a junkyard, but I don't want to get one right now, so I'm not going to. We could repair it with some patch panels like we did in the previous videos here with bits and pieces, but I don't want to because I'm lazy. So we'll tackle that to keep it from slowing down the progress, I'll put it to you that way, for this winter. And we'll reevaluate it here in the springtime. I'm going to be starting off with Turtle Wax, the scratch and swirl mark remover, as I just threw it in the trash. And I'm going to be using a dirty wool pad from Finish Master. And we're all going to be using it on my Makita buffer. After we get it all wool padded, we're going to use the Mejoyers polish and a foam pad. That way we'll go through, it'll look nice and pretty. And we'll follow it up at the end. I'll probably put a nice coat of, I think I have some carnauba wax or some other kind of turtle wax that we'll wax it up and make it shine, but we got to get into it first. All right, so let me point out some detailed buffing thing when you're on a wool pad. You can really work these scratches, but you got to be careful. Like I mentioned before, you'll get a burn through. I worked it pretty hard up there. It was the same consistency as up here, and you can see it kind of just disappears as it gets through here. You can kind of somewhat see it. If I was really adamant, I could probably wet sand that down. Same thing with this one. That one will never go away because that's too deep, but you can tell the difference between the two. That one is just barely in the clear, and this one over here is more just onto the base coat there. But you could really work them and get them down if you had a deep enough scratch or whatnot, but that ultimately would come out if I wet sanded it. I'm gonna grab some wet sanding paper. We'll just do a quick little spot here and kind of do a comparison, see if we can get that any better. So I got some 1500 grit paper on a wet sanding block. You could start with 1000 grit, go to 1500, 2000 grit, 2500, 3000, whatever you want, but I'm just gonna go 1500 grit because that's all I have. Plus I don't have any water floating around, so I got this leftover beer that will just, you know, maybe the bubbles will help, I don't know. But we're gonna work this scratch out here. I like to do circular motions on stuff like this, especially because it's so close to the hood. And what you do is you take off little bits of clear coat when you do this, and you smooth it out. It smells good, dang, now I want a beer. Wonder why that is. So we don't want to get superly aggressive, but yeah, wipe it up, see what it looks like. So for those that are wondering, Busch Light is the only thing I was have in the house. You can use whatever beer you want. Anyways, there's what our panel looks like when it's wet sanded. Got a dent right there I can feel. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it. It's probably from the hailstones. But as you get into there here, you can see, where'd that scratch go? Point it out, it's right there. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So what we did is we knocked off the high ridges of the clear on each side of it, and we kind of blended it in there. So I'm going to call that pretty good. You could work at it a little bit more, but, you know, even into here and on the fender, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to do this for an experiment here. And you can see right in the middle, it's pretty much all the way down. Huh. So let's get back on the buffer here and see what we can do if we can knock it out. Well, there you go. You can see where our dent is right there, and then where the scratch starts. And for the most part, disappeared. Take it up towards there, you can kind of somewhat see it right there. But yeah, I'd say that's a win for me. Might have to start using beer to wet sand on, buff out these cars. So I'm not going to take it any further because I got that panel kind of hot there and we don't want to burn through. So we'll go ahead and finish polishing out the vehicle thing over here. I'm going to go all the way around, get all the panels. I'm going to polish it up and I'll bring you guys back when I'm done. Little trick for you when you're buffing, grab a light, put it on the side there, and you'll be able to see your swirl marks and other blemishes there. You can see it's kind of got that hazy scratch mark look. That's what we're going to delete. And make sure to do your pillars and stuff because they get it pretty hard, and you can see comparing it's pretty scratched up right there versus over here. Well, here we are. Go down the side. Nice and shiny up. Almost don't want to drive it. Look at the hood. You can see all my dents. Driver's side's all done. Even did the bottom of the doors there. Did the roof a little bit, but I don't really care too much about that. Nice and pretty. So our next step was we gotta slow down the rust from forming, corroding, you know, nooks and crannies getting all in the spots. So what I ended up doing is I have this heavy duty corrosion inhibitor, CRC Marine. It's actually made for saltwater trailers. You spray it on a trailer and it keeps salt water out. So figured saltwater, salt in Michigan, you know, same thing. Same thing as fluid film. If you guys haven't seen a review on that, check out Project Farms, Google corrosion inhibitor. And this stuff actually came out on top for resisting rust, better than fluid film. So that's why I went with it. Bought a box of it off of the Amaspace here. And actually I do it with all my vehicles. Kind of like a oily base substance painting thing. Well, there's the first view. Sun on the hood. A couple swirl marks, but we gotta wash it yet. Got it all sprayed down. Flooded them cracks out. I'll let that dry for a minute, and then we're going to take the pressure washer, pressure wash it. I did make sure to flood out my rust spots right here. I missed a spot, dang it. I'll grab that here in a minute. And then we'll give her one wax over, wash, wax, whatever. Should be done. Sometimes the best way to dry off a vehicle when you got to get it dry and continue doing work, you know, just go take it for a quick spin around the block. So now that you're back in your garage space, you know, most of it's dried off. You can go ahead and start waxing it. So it turned out pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, pretty happy with it. When you're waxing, of course, watch out for water spots because those will smear your wax. And you want to get in these little nooks and crannies where we tried pressure washing it off there and didn't work. Some of these little marks right here, those will wipe right off with wax or your finger. Yeah, just kind of go around the vehicle and clean up your jams and everything else. I'm going to use this Zurich Shield paint sealant renewer. I've had it for about 3 years. Never used it. Maybe I used it once. I got it when I got my first Denali. So we'll see how good it is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then we'll wash the windows and should finish it up. Well, there it is. There's that scratch after we got it all waxed up. You know, it's still there. Kind of started disappearing right there, but I think pretty much disappeared right here too where we wet sanded it out, but yeah. Never really noticed that this car's got a purplish hue to it, purplish tint. But overall, went through, wipe down these little spots where there's compound blasted in there. Went right next to the windows, and that'll color good. Now you of course could go through and take it or much more extreme if you really wanted to. I'm not going to. I mean, I paid $300 for this thing, so why? But just goes to show with a little bit of elbow grease, you can polish up a turd. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.